Good evening everyone. Here we are. It's not a Sunday walk, it's a Monday walk. I'm just thought I'd have a walk down this lane. It's called Whitewell Lane. And my mum would say it was the perfect lane for couples to walk down. Sweethearts. A young lady out with her beau, with a boyfriend who's turned up in the old-fashioned way and said, "Can I take you out for afternoon walk on a Sunday, let's say?" And he arrives at the door, proudly dressed in his best tucker, and says, as he opens the door, "I've brought you some flowers and a box of chocolates." Well, in my day, when I was young, a box of chocolates would be something like, they were called Weekend box of chocolates, or of course we got the good old-fashioned Black Magic. And the young lady would be all dressed up in her best stuff. Or saying that, back when the servants were around, she probably would have on her bonnet and her coat, and she would have been to church in the morning, come home, and she got half a day off. And her half a day would be on the Sunday, because obviously she'd have had to go to church because it shows respect for the family. Maybe the young man was a footman from one of the local houses, and he would come and pick her up because it was his half day too, and he'd pick her up. Maybe they'd go down for a walk down a lane such as this, because they didn't have a lot of money. So if they lived in the country, there wasn't very many places they could go, especially on a Sunday, because even now where I live, on a Sunday it is really quite quiet and basically dead, nothing. Or maybe they took a picnic, who knows? Maybe the young girl was lucky enough to be friendly with the cook, who made sure she saved her some cold cuts of meat from the roast from the day before. Can you imagine her in her little box heel boots with the little buttons up the side, and her long skirt down to her ankles nearly, maybe dressed in a lovely little brown jacket with a little bit of braiding on it. She'd probably save for a year to buy that jacket, because she probably left home really young. Maybe that young that her parents had said to her, "Right, I'm sorry my love, you're 14, you've got to go. We've got the rest of the little ones to think about and we need to make room." She might have been one of 7 or 8 children, and maybe more. Maybe her dad worked on the local farm. Maybe her mum took him washing for the posh people up on the hill in the big manor house. Times would have been hard anyway. So sometimes, or I'm sure she would have done, she would have left home, and at the time of leaving home, she would have started to send money home to her parents. Not money for them to save for her, but money to help them live. Help her brothers and sisters to have the things that maybe she couldn't have when times were really hard, but now her and maybe another brother were working. They could send home money so that they could have a few treats. Maybe mum could even go in on market day and buy some cake. Maybe fruit cake. Who knows? Just moving over here a minute because there's cars. As you can see, it's very wooded one side, more open the other. But the banks are high. And you have to be really, really careful because of the fact the cars come down. My little granddaughter, Poppy Emma, is behind me. She's only 2, so don't worry. She is being led by Grandpa. Yeah, you're here. Are you here? Yeah. All right then. Come here and I'll show them you're here. Say hi.
Hi.
So the young girl probably moved away from home, as I was saying. Maybe became a scullery maid. And when she first moved in there at what, 13, 14, imagine how lonely she would have been. Imagine leaving a tiny village and then going up to a big house on the hill, going in, meeting all these different people who normally perhaps wouldn't even look in her direction. But now she had to call them sir and madam. And when she was walking about doing her work, can you imagine her having to hide? Literally, when someone from the house came along, she had to face the wall with her bucket in hand so that they could pretend as they walked past that she didn't even exist. I wonder what kind of name she had. Peggy, Dolly, Janie. And it's a pet. And I would imagine that one day a week, that one half day a week, she looked forward to. Imagine having to get up 4:30 in the morning and just quite simply make sure all the grates were clean, make sure everything was ready for when the family got up. She probably slept in one room at the top of the house, which she might have shared with 3 or 4 other girls. Even sharing the bed, maybe top and tailing in the bed. Not a lot better than she had at home. Who knows? She might have had to share one room with her parents and her 8 or 9 brothers and sisters. Who knows? One thing I guess is she might have experienced some different types of foods. Because more often than not, if there was food left over from a dinner party, it would be saved for some of the servants. Not all. I mean, the butler would get his pick first, I'm sure. And the cook, as she made it also, would have some good bites out of it before anybody else got it. I'm sorry the sun keeps shining through. I'm so sorry. It is the evening, but it just keeps catching us every so often when the trees move about. So anyway, life couldn't have been easy, could it? And I grumble now. Used to grumble about the housework and that. But imagine getting up at 4:30 and falling into bed at 11 o'clock at night when all the washing up was done. And having to be up again 4:30, 5:30 the next morning to light the Aga, get the oven ready for breakfast. Doing all these jobs before the cook even showed her face at, say, 7:30. 2 hours of solid work. Blackleading the Rayburns, getting the fireplaces done, even outside in all weathers, scrubbing and polishing the doorstep. Why? Just so if people come, they could say that the house was clean and tidy. Anyway, my little granddaughter's beginning to be a quack, so I guess I better say goodbye. But we've just had, roughly give or take, a 10-minute walk. But we've also gone down memory lane. And maybe next time we go for a walk, we'll be able to work out what happened to our young girl when she went for our walk. Did they have a good time? Did he upset her? Did they speak about their home lives and their expectations for the future? Did they want to be better than their parents? Or do you think they'd be happy to go back on the farm and live there with everyone else? Who knows? Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But I sure know that they would have enjoyed their freedom, their time out, their time away from the house and from the orders of everyone. So, I guess what we'll say is, we'll say bye for now and we'll let them carry on with their historical walk. Bye, Pops.